Hello, you're welcome. This is Moment for Thought. I am Aliyu Bababaro. Today we are talking about food security in Nigeria and, of course, and the economy. Just recently, a celebration of the success story of that very important factor in the life of a nation, which is food security, brought about the success of the rice revolution in the country. A pyramid was brought out again, a kind of reincarnation of that used to be in the past. It is the success of the conglomeration of the efforts by all the three tiers of government that converged on Abuja for this celebration. But the success story is not enough. The most important part of it is perhaps sustainability, which the nation should ensure. And I have with me in the studio distinguished Nigerians who will discuss this and perhaps show the light, as they say. When you show the light, people will find the way. We're talking about both the government and the governed. I have with me in the studio the Director General of the National Hydrological Services Agency, Mr. Clement Enze, an engineer by profession. He is a civil engineer. You're welcome to the program.
My pleasure.
DJ.
Thank you.
Yes. Being a civil engineer, you're in the right place.
Yes, so, this right place to talk.
Of Poultry Association of Nigeria, a farmer through and through. But you know the combination of the two, an architect and a farmer.
Yes.
This reminds me the logo of the MPN of those days, which they call it in Hausa Gida da Masara. That is, you have a shelter and you have the food.
Yes. Okay.
With the picture of the house and the maize, the corn. So you cultivate the shelter and cultivate the food at the same time, I suppose.
There is a nexus, yes, between architecture and agriculture.
And agriculture.
Yeah. I would like to see that today.
Yes, the annexes of that.
I will tell you that there is a nexus.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, let me go straight to Mr. Clement Enze. We're talking about provision of food for the nation. Nigeria for far too long had been in depending on rainfall agriculture. The issue of, I remember in the past there was the shadow irrigation scheme which people did locally and what have you. But now if you go, you hover around, well, the world today, the technology has taken over.
Correct.
How do you see the issue of sustainability? Let me start from the top, then we'll come to the grassroots. Yes, to see whether his views will rhyme with yours. Yes, please.
Yeah, but what you just mentioned is trying to take me back to what I had to discuss with somebody in my office today. The issue of having year-round irrigated agriculture. See, in some parts of Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, some locations we have about maybe 3 months of rainfall. Even some maybe less than that. Now, for you to be able to have year-round irrigated agriculture, water is the key. How do you provide water that farmers, whether big-time farmers or peasant farmers, will be able to carry on their business of farming and to be able to feed the nation? On that note, like my friend was telling me in the office when we talked about it extensively, that he recorded in the 80s when he joined service, government work, that in some parts of the far north, like Maiduguri, you will see some collection of water that it stays for quite some months after the rains have ceased. People go there to farm, make use of the water. So that's why in Nigeria, Agricultural Service Agency, NISA, we've been advocating that state governments should be able to build some reservoirs so that during the time or period of rainy season, which we have in excess when it comes like that, we don't dissipate all of them. Just allow it to flow, go back to the ocean or to the rivers and then dissipate it. If we can build a lot of catchments, have storage facilities to trap water during the rainy season. Some can even be sustained, be used for about 3 months when the rains have ceased to ensure that you continue to farm. So depending on rain-fed agriculture cannot take us anywhere. Other countries have gone beyond that, and Nigeria should be looking towards that. And most of this work is domiciled in the states.
Yes.
So the state government should key into this project. Maybe as we go further, we can talk about some states that are already doing a lot in that regard.
Yes. Well, I think this creation of dams and what have you are very, very capital intensive. Well, the state government is a second tier of government, and we, as it used to happen and people are used to,
Yes.
there's the almighty federal government to provide that and what have you. So we'll come into the nitty-gritty of working together.
We'll do that.
Yes. Let me come to the president of AFAN. You saw the pyramid, and you saw some of the products, the products of Nigerian farmers, and you relate with them at the grassroots level. How do you see this factor today, rain-fed agriculture, the hazard needs, and the profit margin of it as far as cultivation of crop is concerned, rice in particular? Let's start from there.
Well, as the DG rightly said, we cannot go anywhere depending on rain-fed agriculture. We need to do agriculture the year round to optimize our productivity and to get to food sufficiency even before food security. The issue of rice, which needs a lot of water, is very, very important and is key to what we are talking about. Most of the production of rice is supposed to be from collections or water collected in some places, because some of the species of the seeds require a lot of flooding to even thrive. So it is very important and prudent for Nigeria, that is the federal government and the states, to wake up to this reality. The issue of rice has become very, very topical since this government came into being, because the CBN came up with the Anko Borowa on rice and wheat. We escorted the president to Kebbi State and to flag off this. But somehow I think rice took center stage. And a lot of money and a lot of encouragement has been put towards the production of agriculture.
Yes.
The CBN has done a lot, invested a lot, and the idea of the pyramid for rice may not be the best way to showcase our achievements in agriculture, but because of what goes on in the public domain, especially social media, when they keep antagonizing the efforts that have been made, the CBN and RIFAN in the partnership found it necessary to showcase what they have been able to achieve. We know that a lot of the small farmers have done a lot of work, and they, in spite of insecurity, in spite of so many challenges, the inadequacy of the water that the irrigable lands would want, they have been able to produce so much that in paying back in kind, the CBN was able to collect, I think they displayed about 1 million bags of paddy. Well, whether anybody likes it or not, that's quite an effort. It may not be commensurate with the investment, but at least it's some effort. So there are many areas where you make investments and nothing comes out, I mean, we have, our experiences have shown that in this government. So I sympathize with the rice farmers as well as the CBN and the Nigerian people as a whole, that this may not go down well with everybody, that we have these pyramids and then the rice is not in our homes. But this is still work in progress.
Yeah.
I believe that in time we will be able to have sufficient quantities of this produce, and it will now sell at a lower price.
Yes.
Now the prices of these things are not very helpful in terms of the sympathy that we can give to the refund, CBN refund partnership,
Yes.
because rice is still very costly in the market. But as time goes on, I believe, and if the right kind of decisions are taken, we advised even after the in fact, on the day of the carnival, the FRCN interviewed me and I said, yes, this quantity of rice as paddy should be quickly given to the millers to mill, and then the government, through the intervention of the Strategic Grains Reserve,
Yes.
since the president in his 1st October speech said they should even resuscitate the NAFRA,
Yes.
the National Food Reserve Agency,
Agency.
they should quickly buy it off from the millers and then bring it back to the public at subsidized prices. That would help to cushion the skyrocketing prices
Yes.
in the market. But as we know, it is not sustainable.
Yeah.
It is like a drop in the ocean. But to be able to do it assiduously, to produce assiduously such that we will be able to cushion this price is what we need to do. So a lot more work has to be done. I believe what has been happening is work in progress.
Yes.
And we praise all the actors, but we ask them to do more and to do for the CBN to do due diligence in doing this thing, so that many more farmers will buy
into it, yes.
and then we will be where we want to be.
Yes.
Have food security.
Okay.
Because food security is the thing that will make Nigeria grow. It will make us go forward.
Yes.
Because then our children will be able to think properly.
Yes.
Their brain power will be very good, and so we will get where we want.
Yeah, all these issues about sustainability. Well, when we see the produce is already there,
Yes.
but how did it come to that stage? That is the fundamental aspect of it if we want to ensure sustainability. We are talking about the farmers on ground and the cultivation, the inputs, and just as you said, rice, if we take rice for example, it needs a lot of water.
Yes.
And now the partnership, is it the partnership between the federal and the state government for the development of these small dams and holder schemes and what have you? How do you inject the public? How do you inject associations like this into the program as a government?
See, from what the doctor is saying here, you could see that the private sector has a lot of ideas, actionable ideas that could be implemented, and then
Yes.
we'll be where we want to be. But to some extent, there looks to be some gaps in buying into this laudable projects or program of the federal government. Like I mentioned earlier, water is key. Water is key. If there's no water, you can't go anywhere. Now, the federal government, a lot of dams have been built, maybe over 400 of them we have in Nigeria.
400?
Yes, which is still the number, which is still far below what we should have. Among other purposes, dams help to make water available year-round for agriculture, for irrigated agriculture. In some other countries, I won't be able to maybe begin to elaborate the number of dams they have vis-a-vis their population or their land mass compared to Nigeria. So there's the need for other tiers of government, especially at the state level, to see it as a thing they have to buy into to ensure that within their catchment, because this, like I mentioned some time ago, like some of us who are in this field know, the amount of water we lose annually is quite overwhelming, quite mind-blowing during the rainy season. Maybe this thing happens at the peak of it, when the floodings occur, between July to early October, and water fizzles out, and we begin from scratch. If there's a way that state government can take active part in ensuring that this water, we conserve it, it will help a lot to the farmers.
Some have done that.
We are liaising with Kebbi State.
Okay.
Maybe because Kebbi State is the largest rice producer among other states in Nigeria.
There's the River Niger there.
The River Niger is the first point of entry of River Niger into Nigeria. Both, it affects them quite negatively when there is flooding, because that's the first point of it, river flooding. So they are already keen into this to ensure that you have what we've been talking with the state governor, paying visits or sending some commissioner to come to the office, and then invite to come over to see how we can, get this in properly put into plan and things they are doing to ensure that this rain should not be or the flood, we call it, not be
the water should not
bring
be wasted.
pains to us, should not be wasted.
Yes, Mr. President. And talking about farmers are very dear to you, to your heart, actually. There are hazards during rainy seasons, and when we depend on rain-fed agriculture, we face all those kinds of hazards. And talking about these, making some dams, bringing them up and for use and that. And remember, just as I introduced you, you are at one time President of Poultry Farmers Association of Nigeria, the national president. Does animal husbandry, livestock and water require just as much as arable agriculture? Because we are talking about food security, and you talk about nutrition to our children.
Well, you see, you are touching. I'm really a livestock farmer, and I will tell you that a large ruminant requires a lot of water. Like a bull that weighs almost 1 ton.
A bull?
Yes, a big bull that weighs that much needs a lot of water in a day to be able to maintain that size. And birds, when you mention poultry, there are people who have 1 million birds in their farms.
1 million?
Yes, and these, they drink water. If you provide light to chicken, it will eat throughout the day. And as it eats, it also drinks water. So it takes a lot of water. So water is life, as they say, to both us and livestock. And then to agriculture, water is sine qua non. It comes even before seed. Because, the seed will not germinate if it does not have water. So many nutrients, and water is very, very important for it to grow. So a number of farmers have even built dams around their own farms. But we are not very rich. We are like Oliver Twist, always asking for more. But no effort should be spared to make it possible for people to work the land throughout the year. In other countries, people even use groundwater. They have boreholes that help, and they have very large sprinklers with very large booms, maybe 30 meters boom, and they go around and spread water. In France, I saw a farm, 450 hectares, and was relying on groundwater.
You, the two of you are very enticing, so to speak. When you talk about agriculture, food is very vital.
Yes.
I think that is second to air when we talk about human existence generally in the society. And talking about, we haven't even touched the issue of food security and the economy, which I know this discussion for now cannot contain that, especially you were once a teacher, I suppose. What of the architect?
I lectured for a while. You
can see that?
Yes.
So it's very difficult to control you guys.
Once we are going off point.
Yes, when you're carried away, passion in agriculture. So we'll need to have further discussion for the following week. This week, this discussion will be for this week. We'll continue with the discussion later. You have a lot to offer. Thank you very much, Alhaji Kabir Ibrahim, National President of All Farmers Association of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
And Director General, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Mr. Clement Enze. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
I know that Enze, usually you cap it all with one chapter title or the other.
My own is natural.
Oh, it's natural.
Yes, not one that somebody gave. No.
Odimma.
Thank
you very much. Thank you. You've had it all. We will continue with the discussion, well, in the subsequent week. When you discuss about food security generally, you are discussing about the economy. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'm Aliyu Papa Paro.